Hello, I bought this little DVR module a while ago and I've been trying it out here today on the bench. Actually, I bought it a couple of months ago and I thought that it wasn't working properly because it would record video directly from a FPV cam, but it wouldn't record video from my video receiver. So I just had it sitting in my drawer for about 2 months thinking it was faulty. Then I got another video receiver and tried it, and I also bought an oscilloscope, which is, boy, that is a hell of an eye-opener. And I realized that my video receiver was faulty. So, but for some reason the screen on my goggles was able to deal with the video signal from the faulty receiver. Okay, but anyway, long story short, I've had this for a while without using it. I've just been playing around with it a bit today, and I thought I would make a video to show you what to expect if you are thinking about getting one of these yourself. So I have stuck that on there. I'll get to that in a second. But basically, this unit here, believe it or not, is able to completely replace this one, which is the one I've been using for the last year and a bit. I have a few annoyances with this one, most of which seem to be fixed with this. So the good points about this one is that it's quite easy for connectivity. When you buy it, it comes with some cables, I think, and it definitely comes with that cable and maybe even a couple of those as well. But it's big and bulky, and the main annoyance is that it cuts the video file the main annoyance is that it cuts off part of the screen. So if this was the screen here, you don't get to see the bottom bit and you don't get to see the rightmost bit either. So if you're recording something that your video has an OSD display on it, you're not going to be able to see the last few digits on the right hand side. At least that's been my experience with this one. And the other problem is that it cuts the video file every 5 minutes and you lose a second or so, which is very annoying when you're trying to edit videos and you want to put it all together. You have to sort of line them up. And it's just big and clunky, and apart from that, I guess it's not terrible. But oh yeah, the other problem with this is that the video out is a bit unreliable, so you would never want to be using this video out here to look at while you're flying FPV. I found it just sort of glitched and cut out and turned off and on and stuff like that, so I never really used that after the first time that I tried it. So some of those issues have been fixed with this one. It's much smaller and lighter. That's the first thing that struck me when I got it. It's you can see here the squares on the disc. It's about 4 by 3 centimeters and 1 centimeter in height. Very small. It weighs 10 grams apparently. I forgot to weigh it before I stuck this stuff on here, but I guess it's 10 grams. It just feels like nothing almost. So stuck on the top there I have a voltage regulator just to take a LiPo battery down from whatever the LiPo battery is to 5 volts, and you can see on there at the top we have 5 volts ground, video in, video out, and audio out. And then below that we have another ground, and then we have K1, 2 and 3, which are just these switches here. So that lets you plug in a plug there and make those switches external to this unit somewhere. So I think what a lot of people will be doing with this is attaching this to their video goggles, like the Quantum goggles that I have, or Quantum V2s that a lot of people have that have no video recorder inside it. You could attach this to those goggles and set it up quite nicely, and you wouldn't even notice the extra weight. It's just like there's nothing there. So what else do we have on here? I have a couple of other wires coming out here which I'm going to use to power this for a little demonstration. I opened this up and took a few photos of the inside, the circuit board inside, so I'll put those into the video here if anybody's interested. I couldn't really identify anything on the board, but maybe somebody else can. So let me just get this all hooked up and we'll have a look at, I'll make it so that the camera signal is going into the DVR and then coming out through the video out. I'm not going to bother with audio for now. Right, so that's ground and 5 volts and the video signal for the camera coming in. And then over here I've got this other little, it's a big mess of wires but this is just a plug that fits onto the screen here that I have. So I'm just going to plug one side of that into my LiPo, which I'm going to power everything with, and this is going to go into the negative pin on the LiPo balance port, and then this one is going to have to go onto the video out cable, which is the blue one here. And I'm just going to quickly tack that down with a bit of solder, and that will make things much easier than instead of having to hold it. Yep, hopefully that'll stick on. Alright. And then we plug this into there. And put this somewhere we can see something that's interesting, like a coffee cup. And plug the power in. Jesus, oh, what is this? Bits of wire everywhere. So hopefully that should give us a signal. You notice that it's very slow to start up. Maybe I've got something wrong. What is this? Oh. This has already come undone. Alright, let me just solder this. Put a bit more solder onto this. I thought this was going to be okay. Blobby, need a bit more blobby solder there. Come on. Alright, so now we can see over there we have a coffee cup and a soldering thingy and a keyboard. Unfortunately it's kind of bright on the screen there, isn't it? But we should be able to see enough to see that there's a little bit of latency here. How can I make this darker? Okay, so I'm just trying to illustrate that there's a tiny bit of latency. And that's because we are looking at the signal that's passing through the DVR. So we're looking at the video out signal from the DVR. On the screen here, it's a fairly nice display. And there's quite a nice set of menus and stuff as well, which we'll have a look at in a second. Just put this around that way. So notice when it powers up how long it takes. So this is another reason you might not want to have your video out. As you're flying, you definitely don't want to be looking at the video out coming out of this DVR. If you get a power glitch like that, it's going to take whatever that was, 4 or 5 seconds to restart itself. And as we'll see in a minute, when we record, the latency is even worse. It's quite jerky. But just have a look at the screen. You can see fairly nice display. There is a time down the bottom right. I think that's the amount of time that you can record for given the storage space on the current SD card that's inserted. This is a 4 gigabyte SD card, which is completely empty, so that's 4 gigabytes. It's going to get you 2 hours apparently. 2 hours 18 minutes, which is pretty good. Right at the top here, just there by the top of the coffee cup, it might not be immediately obvious, but there's a mark which looks like a microphone. So I'm not sure why that needs to have an icon there, but it does record audio and playback audio. And then there's a marker there which looks like an SD card, so I guess that's just letting us know that there's a card inserted. And in the upper left there's a picture of a video camera, which seems to be completely pointless. I don't see any reason for it to be there because it's just always there, I think. But anyway, it doesn't really mean much. So to record with this, we just hit button K1 briefly, just for a moment there, and then we should see the little red LED start to flash in there, and the number in the bottom right changes to a number that counts up, showing us how long we've been recording for. I did a little test just before making this video to see how long it would record before cutting the file, and it cuts it at 10 minutes, and once again we lose about 1.5 seconds or so of the video at that point. So as far as improvements on this one, it is an improvement because it cuts it at 10 minutes instead of 5 minutes. I was really hoping that it just wouldn't cut it at all, or it would be a long time, like, you know, an hour or something like that, but unfortunately it's going to be cutting it at 10 minutes. As far as cutting the screen off though, as long as you're using an NTSC signal, you should get a perfectly recorded screen. I haven't seen any OSD being cut off at all. I tried with my OSD input signal and it was fine. It will cut off the bottom of the screen a bit if your input signal is PAL though. I read on the Banggood site that the ones that come out now will have that fixed, so if the signal is PAL it's not going to cut the bottom off. I'm not sure how it's going to arrange that though, because I guess to keep the bottom part it's probably going to have to give you some bars at the side or something. I'm not sure. Oh, I forgot to show you that, but this is the page here. I guess you can look at the link in the description and look at all the stuff here. So it's got these quite nice menus which we'll look at in a minute. And you can, yeah, so that's the info there. $25, not too bad I thought. So anyway, we recorded a couple of minutes of video there, and now we can just hit K1 again, and then the light will go solid and we're back to the menu that we saw before, except instead of 2 minutes 18 and now it says 2 minutes 16, so that's about right. Oh, I forgot to show you the latency while we were doing that. So this is the latency when we're not recording. Oops. And this is the latency when we are recording. Pretty bad. You really don't want to be flying with something like that, I think. And when you're moving like that, it looks even worse. It just looks really jerky and terrible. So unfortunately, all of this nice on-screen display here and the menus that we're about to look at, you won't want to have your connection set up so that you'll be able to see that in your goggles. But what you could do is put a switch so that if you flip a switch on your goggles, you'll switch between looking at the video out from the module or looking at the direct video coming in from your camera or your video receiver. So if I ever put this on goggles like that, that's probably what I would do, because I think I would want to use the rest of the features that are in here, because what you can do, if I just stop that recording, what you can do is if you press button K2 and hold that down, we get this nice menu, and we can make a few settings here. So let's just have a look at those. So we use buttons K1 and K3 to go up and down in these menus, and then K2 is like the OK button. And if you hold down K2 as like a long press, then that's like returning to the previous menu or just quitting the menu. So I think if I just hold down K2 for a second here, no, that didn't work. How do I get this to go away? Okay. Long press K2. Long press K2 again. Oh, and then long press K2 again. Oh, so it's just cycles between those three pages or modes, I guess. Alright, so let's do that again. Alright, so we can select things on the menu here Oh, video time is set to 10 minutes. Wait a minute. Can I change that? Oh, I see. Oh, well, that's good, isn't it? I guess let me try putting that to 20 minutes instead. I forgot that was there. Anyway, so you can set, it looks like a maximum of 20 minutes. Recording sound is just on or off. VGA, the other options are D1 and HD. I haven't tried HD. Wonder what that does. Let's try that. Yeah, okay. I'll try that now. And in the next page we have, looks like we can format the disk. And the ones that say next menu, I think there's another dialog or confirmation box that would come up if you try those. I'm not going to try these ones because I don't want to format the disk and I don't want to reset anything. I'm not going to change the language, but maybe we can just see what the options are. Okay, we got, oh, there's no Chinese, that's interesting. So those are, I'm just going to long press K2 to get back. Presumably that works. Let's try it. We can't go too wrong, can we? Yep. Looks alright. Light frequency, not sure what this is for. 60 Hertz, 50 Hertz. I don't know what that's supposed to do. And then the TV output, we can choose NTSC or PAL there as well. So that's just what's going to be output on the video outline, I guess. I'll leave that as NTSC because it's working fine. So that was long press K2. Now if we do long press K3, I think, was it? Yeah. That will take us into the replay menu. So now we can see a few more things. We have a number 2, that's the number of the video file that we've recorded. So we've recorded 2 videos so far. It's 1 minute and 8 seconds long. It's VGA. It has a camera tripod at the bottom, at the middle left for some reason. Not sure what that means. And then if I hit K2 here, short press, we can watch the video that we recorded just before. So this would be really handy to have the ability to be able to do this from your goggles if you wanted to. Might help you find where you crashed. If you lost the quad somewhere, you can go and figure out where it is. And with watching it at forward normal speed forward. Now if I hit K3, it will be double speed, and I can do that again to be 4 speed, and I can pause and restart again. And let's see what happens if I do pause and then long press K2. I can delete the file, and oh, it looks like I can change the audio volume as well. Long press K2 again gets me to that one, which is what we had before. Right, now if I do K1 or K3 at this point, I can cycle between the videos that I recorded. So this is the first one we recorded, the 2-minute long one. And let's just watch that at 4 speed. A bit boring, isn't it? I thought I put my finger in front of it here. Or we can go to 8 speed too. 8 speed, oh, nothing. Oh, there we go. Oh, there's my hand doing some mouse stuff. Alright, so I think you get the idea. You can record and replay all in this nice little tiny little unit. Not sure that there's too much else to say about it really. One thing that I might point out is the way that you are supposed to use, oh no, I can't pick this up, but the second plug there with the single ground and then the button extensions, you can use that if you have one of these plugs like that. I actually got this in my CC3D set when I bought a CC3D board. It came with one of these plugs that has a convenient set of connectors on there at the end, so I'm just going to use that for this little bit here. Oh, the SD card goes in on the side there, by the way. It's a push one, so it's quite nice. You can feel it going in properly. You do need sort of a fingernail or something to get it in though, because it's quite pokey in there. Now, which way does this go? That way. So I'll just show you how this extension of those plugs works. Is that going in? I think it's in. Alright, so let's just get back to the normal state. Oh. How do I get out of there? No. Okay, so it must be K3 to get back from there. Okay, so K2 takes you just to a setup menu and K3 takes you to the playback menus. So on here, the black one should be ground, I think. Yep. I'm just going to get a little bit of wire and connect one of these to ground so that we can see how that works. Little piece of wire, so I'm just going to put this into the ground plug, and then K1 is the red one, isn't it? Yeah. So if you wanted to make these switches come out to some external point somewhere else, all you need to do is make them so that they the ground will touch whichever button you want to be pushing. So in this case I have the red one, the red wire is going to be K1. So when I touch this on here, we should see that the LED starts blinking because it will start recording. Ready? Okay. So we're recording a video and then I'll do it again. So this will be like pressing K1 again. And then it stops. So you could extend these buttons somewhere else. So you could put this, if you had a big SD card, say a 32 gig, which is the maximum that this can take, you could just put a 32 gig SD card in there and leave it in there and put this whole unit inside your goggles. If you had one of those, like the goggles that are coming out now, like the Earchain ones with the plastic cases, or the Cyclops, or whatever they are, and you could have these buttons coming out somewhere else and just leave this completely inside your goggles and use it with external buttons. I think you get the point. What else was there that I wanted to say? I think that covers it. Oh, I was going to, let me just show you the file types and the sizes that you can expect from these. So I'll just power it down, and here's where the SD card is in there. You almost can't even really see it, but if you have a bit of fingernail like I do, you can take the SD card out, and I'll just put that into my desktop computer and we can find the file and take a look at them. So it'll make a DCIM and then 100 DSCIM, whatever that is, and then we'll see these files here. So this is, so 2 minutes was 77 meg, although I wasn't really doing much, so the video compression will be quite efficient, I think. and you may not be able to hear it in the video, but I can hear a sort of a little bit of a whining, buzzing kind of noise. So it's playing back the audio as well, but obviously I didn't have any microphone to actually record audio, but you could if you wanted to. So yeah, it works quite nicely. There's a hand doing the mouse thing again. And another thing I was going to do with this is just going to show you the video format that it gives when it records. So that's that one. So it's motion JPEG, and it's 29, well, basically 30 frames per second there. And the audio is 8 kilohertz, 16-bit PCM, and 128 kilobits per second audio. So the audio probably not too bad, really. Doesn't really say what. Oh, bit rate. Total bit rate is 6 kilobits per second. Oh, sorry, 5,000 kilobits per second. Yeah. Did we have one of these that was a? Oh, look at that. Right. So this is the HD one that I tried. So 640 by 480. What is the HD one going to be? The HD one is 1280 by 720, bit rate of 13,000 kilobits per second. Audio is the same, and also frame rate is the same. So where is that one again? This one, wasn't it? So I can't quite tell if I've got this in the right place, but it's stretching the 4:3 picture into 16:9 and upscaling it to 1280 by 720. So it's you're not really getting any benefit from that at all, from what I can tell. So I don't think I'll be using that recording mode in future, but it is there if you wanted to use it for some reason. Okay, I think I've said all I was going to say about this. So I think this is quite reasonable for $25, and it's certainly better than. I would not buy another one of these. No way. God, this thing is heavy. It just seems ridiculously heavy now that I've got this one. Anyway, hope that was useful for somebody who might be looking at these. Thanks for watching.